It's here! It's here! It's finally here!
It's here! It's here! It's finally here! There's no more time for expectation!
Shut up!
You know what I've always thought? I wish the Hammershot was just a little bit smaller and unusable and didn't have a working cylinder or something in it. I mean, I think everybody's wanted that at some point in time. No? Nobody? Well, maybe you wanted a smaller Hammershot just for, you know, having one, but apparently Hasbro thinks that's exactly what we want, because this time we've got something I've been really excited for. The Nerf Microshots line. There's no beating around the bush for this one. If you weren't excited for this, which you most likely weren't, well, you probably already know what this is. It's a Jolt. Or a variety of Jolts. They are Jolt reshells, or reskins in fact. But they've done this in a little bit of a different way, because these are actually based off blasters we already know and love, like the Fire Strike and the Strong Arm and I guess the Hammershot. And these are not the only blasters coming out in this line, these are just the only ones that are out right now, and what they've affectionately dubbed Series 1. And amazingly enough, I thought they might make these like blind boxes, and they didn't, and I'm not sure if I'm really thankful for that or not, because it makes it really easy for me to collect the entire set, but it also means there's like no rare ones or anything like that. We can't get mini Hammershots with gold paint jobs and stuff like that, which would have been kind of cool in my opinion. I don't think I should give Hasbro too many ideas for money, though. These cost me about $10 each off Amazon, which there'll be a link down in the description box below if you want to pick up your own and help the channel. And yeah, I haven't opened these yet, but they're gonna be Jolts. Let's open one. I'm kind of tired of not having one of these open. And, well, I sure hope they don't go in the freaking, like, Walmart that easily. Is there, anything else in here? Do we just get... No, there's nothing in there. Well, collector's edition packaging, how about that? On the back, it doesn't show a whole lot. It shows 1, 2, and 3. And as you can guess, it is a Jolt. Also says look for Strong Arm Hammershot with little check boxes so you can mark off that you got all of them. When there's only 3 of them in this series right now. Huh, they have shown off like silhouettes at some kind of convention or whatever that showed a lot more coming out. But regardless, this is a miniature Fire Strike, the orange variety. And yes, the trigger is identical to the Jolt. Priming rod, that's a little bit different, but it's still a Jolt priming rod. And it's actually not that bad. It's way thicker because it has the shell on it than a normal one. And I'm noticing there are no screws on this. I don't think I could take this apart if I wanted to. 0 screws. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't... this is probably the one that I think that survived the transformation the best, because it's just a squished down miniature Fire Strike. The other ones not so much, because they have cylinders that of course don't do anything. And man, is that Nerf logo huge on this thing. They really wanted to make that logo stand out. And this Microshot's like, look at that. That's like, it's got a cut into your hand right there. But, they did it. And honestly, you're not going to be holding this thing for that long either. It's a Jolt. There's gonna be no difference here. It's a Jolt. Yep, it is in fact a Jolt. Identical. There are some differences, of course, because this one actually covers your dart when it's in the barrel, as these ones don't, which is pretty useful. That means you can put a dart in there and put it in your pocket or a holster and be completely safe without your dart getting all bent up. And they did obviously put some differences into the molding, because we do have a completely different shell on this. The trigger is actually different, although it functions the same way, and the priming bar is actually different. So there are some things to love here. It does have a rail on the top, which of course does absolutely frick all, because it's not a normal size end strike rail. Maybe it will fit that little rail that was on the one of these had a little tiny rail on it for like a dart holder. But I don't have that dart holder, so I can't test it out, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a squished down Fire Strike, which is pretty freaking cool, because I like the Fire Strike, and I never really wanted one to be super tiny, but man, it looks cool. Feels good in the hand. It doesn't completely fill in right there, but it works pretty good. Let's look at the Hammershot, because I think that's the one people want to see the most. And this one is actually secure. No collector's edition packaging on this one. I'm going to have to actually destroy it to open it, which is, I guess I could just take that. Screw it. We'll do it live. So, unlike the Fire Strike, this one does actually say Zombie Strike, and actually has the Zombie Strike kind of packaging detail on the back of it, and even on the front of it. And it does come with Elite Darts, but in the Zombie Strike series, the green style. And the actual blaster itself, man, I really wish that did something hammer action jolt, like this small. That'd be actually kind of freaking cool, Hasbro. They could have actually done that, now that I think about it. I think they might have been able to do something like that, because it is, you know, pulled down and the plunger tube's in there. Huh. But they didn't, so whatever. It actually doesn't look that bad. It's growing on me now that I'm actually holding the thing, if you want to directly compare it to the full-sized version. Kinda similar, kinda not. You can get what they were going for. These are the SD Nerf blasters, the super deformed Nerf blasters, chibi Nerf blasters. Because they got many of the details, and some not. I mean, there's paint application right there for the Zombie Strike logo. Nerf logo is huge once again. Microshots is in a better place than when it's on the Fire Strike one. And yeah, they got the nice detail with the wooden grip and stuff on there. A lot more paint on this one, I feel. This one feels like a little bit more upmarket. Although this big blocky orange right here with nothing to separate is kind of bad. But what the heck ever. It is a Jolt, same priming style rod of the other ones. Put a dart in there. Yep, it's Jolt. No mistakes there. And again, no screws. I think you would have to break this to pull it apart, which is kind of weird. It's completely solvent welded. And I'm going to say that and somebody else is going to pull one apart no problem and make me look like a stupid head. But that's how it goes with YouTube. And finally, probably the least exciting of all of them in my opinion, we have the Strong Arm, which is actually one of my favorite blasters, but this one did not survive the shrinkage process, it looks like. But maybe my opinion will change when I get my actual hand on it. What do we got here? Well, actually, so far I actually like the fact that it does have that stupid loop at the back of the hammer shot. Or, well, Strong Arm, the stupid loop on the back of the Strong Arm. That does make it so you could clip this to something if you wanted to. The grip is almost identical, and all of the warning information is on the cylinder on the back here, which is tiered for some reason, which is really goofy looking. I think goofy is all I could really say about this. The grip is probably the worst of all of them. It's definitely smaller, it feels. Yeah, you can see the beaver tail right there is much smaller. There's much less room to grip, which is very, very frustrating. And it has a tactical rail on there, which looks like it could probably hold something, but it doesn't have anything on it whatsoever. And in terms of performance, it's a Jolt. I think I've said that already. Nothing super special awesome. It is identical to a Jolt. The Microshots, again, on the edges right here on the grip. Thankfully, it's not on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. That could possibly rub you, but you'd never be holding this thing long enough for that to be an issue. And this one, surprisingly enough, it's actually kind of difficult to get my finger in on the trigger. It's actually, like, a really, really tight fit. Like, it's stuck. There we go. Not really a problem with any of the other ones. Lots of room right here. Plenty of room right here. This one, not so much. So of the three, if you only had to get one, and you didn't care what blaster was which, you just wanted a cool looking Jolt that is different and bigger and chunkier, but actually protects your dart when it's in a holster, well, you kind of got a choice between these two. And honestly, I don't think you could go wrong with either of them. I think this one actually has a more comfortable grip because there's less of a beaver tail, so your hand can ride up a little bit more. It does look cooler having the hammer right there that doesn't do anything. And, well, it's a hammer shot, and people like hammer shots. And that's probably the best case for this. If you were going to buy one of these, the hammer shot one might be the best one you want to get. I'm also very partial to this because I feel like it has a slightly more comfortable grip, because this little tiny lip right here does hold my finger down there at the bottom, my pinky. However, if you have bigger hands, you may have an issue with these. I think it's hard. Like these I can hold no problem. Plenty of room. This, it's pushing it. I can hike my hand up and that works. This one, I can hold it pretty naturally. This one, what the heck were you thinking, Hasbro? But these are mostly collector's items. If you collect Jolts, like I do, if you have not seen my Jolt collection video, well then, you have some Jolts to collect. Or if you really like the Hammer Shot, or you want a little tiny one or something like that, for $10, it's a bit of a mess, but it is kind of a different mold and stuff like that, so there is somewhat to debate a reason to spend that extra money. I think you need to rush out there and get these. Hopefully they don't become rare or anything like that. Hopefully they're extremely popular and everybody can get their hands on them. But honestly, they're not anything different than a Jolt, so if that doesn't excite you, I don't know what to say. You're probably a normal person, but for people like me who love Jolts, it's pretty much a must-have-buy, and if you were going to buy any of them, it's pretty much a choice between these two. This is just terrible all around, unless you really, really like the strong arm. This has been Walcom S7's Hands. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.